Imagine waking before sunrise. Not because your body is ready, but because an alarm clock commands you to move. Every weekday begins the same way. Coffee, traffic, deadlines, and another day exchanged for a paycheck. By the end of life, the average modern person will spend nearly 90,000 hours working. We call this progress. Yet for almost all of human history, life looked nothing like this. The people we often dismiss as primitive may have enjoyed something we desperately chase today. Abundant free time, close communities, meaningful lives, and a freedom that modern civilization quietly traded away. But how did we lose it? For generations, we were taught that prehistoric life was brutal, short, and filled with endless suffering. The 17th century philosopher Thomas Hobbes famously described it as solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. But there was one problem. He had never met a hunter-gatherer. In the 1960s, anthropologist Richard Lee traveled to the Kalahari Desert to study the Kung people. Instead of relying on assumptions, he measured how much time they actually spent gathering food, collecting water, and meeting their daily needs. The results shocked the academic world. Most adults worked only around 15 to 20 hours a week. The rest of their time belonged to family, storytelling, music, rest, and simple enjoyment of life. Inspired by these findings, anthropologist Marshall Salins called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society. Their wealth did not come from owning more possessions. It came from needing less. Without mortgages, endless bills, or overflowing closets, they carried only what they truly needed and trusted nature to provide the rest. Now we'd love to hear from you. If you could choose between earning more money or having far more free time with your family and friends, which would you choose? And why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might inspire someone else to rethink what a truly wealthy life really means. If prehistoric people spent every waking moment fighting for survival, they would never have created art that served no practical purpose. Yet archaeology tells a very different story. Deep inside France's Chauvet Cave, breathtaking paintings of lions, horses, and rhinoceroses still cover the walls after more than 30,000 years. Their creators mastered perspective, movement, and shadow long before cities or written language existed. In South Africa, archaeologists discovered carefully drilled shell beads dating back nearly 100,000 years. Someone walked dozens of kilometers simply to collect beautiful shells for decoration. In Germany, a 40,000-year-old flute carved from a vulture's bone reveals that music was already part of human life. These discoveries suggest that our ancestors did not live only to survive. They also lived to create, celebrate, and connect. Even the way they slept was different. Before electric lights filled the night, many people naturally followed a two-phase sleep pattern. They slept for several hours after sunset, woke peacefully around midnight, talked beside the fire, reflected, sang, or simply watched the stars before drifting into a second sleep. What many people today call waking up in the middle of the night may not be a modern disorder at all. It could be an ancient rhythm that has echoed through humanity for hundreds of thousands of years. For hunter-gatherers, survival depended less on individual strength than on strong relationships. There were no banks, police, or insurance companies. Your greatest security was the trust of the people around you. If you shared food today, others would share with you tomorrow. Around the evening fire, conversation became the heartbeat of the community. Anthropologists found that while daytime talk focused on practical tasks, nearly 80% of nighttime conversations were stories, legends, humor, and shared memories. This was where culture, language, and identity truly flourished. But perhaps the most remarkable tradition was something called insulting the meat. When a hunter returned with a large animal, the tribe did not praise him as a hero. Instead, they joked that the animal was too small, too skinny, or hardly worth bringing home. It sounds harsh, but the goal was wisdom, not cruelty. By keeping pride under control, they prevented anyone from becoming too powerful and protected the equality of the entire group. In a world without kings or written laws, humility became one of humanity's greatest survival tools. What do you think? Could a tradition like this work in today's world, or would people see it as unfair? Share your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear how you think modern society could balance individual success with the well-being of the community. Around 10,000 years ago, humanity made a decision that changed history forever. People began planting crops, domesticating animals, and settling in permanent villages. This was the agricultural revolution, often celebrated as the beginning of civilization. But many archaeologists argue that it also came with an enormous hidden cost. Farming produced more food, allowing populations to grow rapidly. Yet as villages expanded, people could no longer return to the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. More mouths required, more fields, more labor, and longer working days. Skeletons from early farming communities reveal shorter average height, weaker bones, severe tooth decay caused by starchy diets, and signs of exhausting physical labor. Living closely with domesticated animals also exposed humans to new infectious diseases that would shape history for thousands of years. Food surpluses created another unexpected change. Grain had to be stored, protected, and controlled. Soon came granaries, fences, guards, rulers, taxes, and social classes. For the first time, wealth could be accumulated, and unequal power followed. Human time was no longer entirely their own. Work became an obligation instead of a shared necessity. The foundations of the modern 9-to-5 world may have been laid thousands of years before the first office building ever existed. Today, we live in the most technologically advanced society our species has ever known. We can order food with a tap, cross continents in hours, and communicate instantly with people across the globe. Yet burnout, loneliness, anxiety, and depression have become increasingly common. Perhaps the question is not whether modern life is easier, but whether it matches the way humans evolved to live. The world of hunter-gatherers is not a blueprint we can return to. With more than 8 billion people on Earth, agriculture and modern civilization are essential. But archaeology and anthropology remind us of something we may have forgotten. Humans thrive when they have meaningful conversations, shared meals, music, time in nature, and communities where everyone feels valued. Not only for what they produce, but for who they are. Maybe true wealth has never been measured by the size of a paycheck. Maybe it has always been measured by the freedom to spend time with the people who matter most. Now it's your turn. If you could bring back just one thing from the hunter-gatherer way of life into the modern world, what would it be? More free time, stronger communities, less materialism, or something else entirely? Tell us in the comments. We read every one, and your ideas could spark an amazing discussion. Our ancestors were not perfect. Their world was dangerous, unpredictable, and filled with challenges we can barely imagine today. But the evidence left behind in ancient bones, cave paintings, musical instruments, and forgotten campfires reveals a surprising truth. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans evolved not only to survive, but to cooperate, create, tell stories, laugh together, and find meaning beyond work alone. Perhaps the greatest lesson from prehistory is not that we should abandon modern civilization. It is that progress should serve human happiness, not replace it. Technology can make life more comfortable, but it cannot replace friendship. Wealth can buy convenience, but it cannot buy belonging. And productivity alone can never satisfy a species shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of community and connection. What do you think is the biggest lesson modern society should learn from our hunter-gatherer ancestors? Leave your answer in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective and continue the conversation with you. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's forgotten past, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Every subscription helps us create more documentary stories grounded in archaeology, anthropology, and the latest scientific discoveries about ancient humans. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the incredible story of where we came from. Until next time, thank you for watching.